Well, what are you guys' thoughts about Studio Ghibli in terms of films?
Oh, it's one of the greatest studios ever in terms of making
I
films.
feel like the way it tells stories is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Because it puts you in this like really whimsical universe where anything is possible, and then you start to realize that they're actually very dark stories, but
Yeah.
it just feels so happy.
Yeah. It does put you like the world itself is very fantastical in each of the films, but the thing is that it's a very human story. I know that the original creator is very like anti-war, so a lot of films he tries to portray anti-war because he grew up like
During World War II.
and
Yeah.
a militarized Japanese state.
Not the place to be.
One of the worst countries in history, by the way. Don't let Hello Kitty fool you.
No. Was it the kawaii culture really brainwashed you guys?
Bro, the PR, I don't think there's a country that's had better PR than Japan. No, the things that country's done, like I know their neighbours hate Japan, I know for a fact. Anyways, but Studio Ghibli films is it looks very much into humanity, and the films never really particularly have a villain for the most part. They have people that do bad things.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're not bad.
They're not bad people.
Yeah.
They're
You're
just
right.
They're just doing life.
You know, funny you said that because that film that I was mentioning you guys off camera that I've now forgotten the name of, that it took me a long time to remember the name of.
Castle in the Sky.
There we go. That film, there was pirates in that film
Yeah.
that were meant to be the bad guys, but they linked up with quote unquote the good guys to work together.
Yeah.
Then it really made them seem less bad, just like they were just doing their thing.
Yeah.
They were trying to steal some jewelry and some gold, and that was just their motive, and that's what they wanted to do. But then you didn't want him to lose, you didn't want him to win. Well, you kind of wanted him to win.
No, but
actually.
you wanted everyone to win. That was always the storyline. Everyone was meant to win. It was like a equality based
because
reward.
That takes a lot of skill to write a character that's come across as a villain, but then later on realize that they're not.
Yeah, I think he does a great job in creating antagonists, but also making sure letting us know the antagonists aren't
humanizing them,
humanizing antagonists, and they're not necessarily villains. And more so, like he does a great job in making sure that the antagonist's decision making is based on the environment and their circumstances, rather than it being at the core as human beings.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of things because of the circumstances that we're in, rather than people doing things out of like badness. They do things out of necessity. Because I don't believe anyone's born evil or born into this world to do bad things. It's more the circumstances, and I think he does a really good job of showcasing that. And I think that just highlights his view on war and his view on people doing bad things. Is that people are not bad. We just circumstances puts in that situation.
That makes me think of what your favorite anime Studio Ghibli is, which is
This is okay.
And just give a top line brief of it.
So the film is about, I think it's like a young prince that has to leave his village because he contracts like a disease or something. So he takes a journey to the west.
Was it like leprosy?
Leprosy, there you go. Yeah, he contracts leprosy. Yeah. And it starts growing. So he takes a journey, leaves the village, so it doesn't affect the rest of the village. And on his way there, he comes across like a steel making village, essentially. And the woman is the one that runs it. Another thing about Studio Ghibli, they do a really good job of actually writing
amazing women,
female characters.
Amazing,
great job.
Multifaceted, strong women, and they don't suffer. They're just strong.
They're just like real human beings. Like from the antagonist to the protagonist to anybody else involved, even the side characters. He just does a really great job. But yeah, so he travels. He comes across a town that's essentially building a city, but they're taking like materials from a forest that has these spirits. And the more that they cut down these trees, the more that they're harming the spirits within there. And then it like becomes a war between the humans and the animals. Like the animals are all spiritual creatures, and there's kind of like a war there. And this protagonist.
You're talking about. I've seen the posters of it.
It's so hard. Junior, you would love it. Yeah. That's Princess Monarchy.
Fucking grow. And the antagonist comes into it right in the middle of all of this. And as the story goes on, you find out that the woman that leads the Steel Town, it's not necessarily an evil person. She's doing it out of necessity to ensure that her people survive.
Yeah.
But obviously she's harming the forest by doing so. I can't remember how it ends for her. I can't remember if it was like something just happens where everyone's cool and they have to leave.
Yeah, they left.
I think they left it and they go somewhere else. But it just showcases like her character, like she's doing X, Y, Z.
Because it's like, it was like it's a story about global warming essentially, and like deforestation. And what happens is they end up having to leave, and then the forest starts regrowing.
Regrowing, yeah. I think it starts regrowing after. I don't want to spoil it, but it's
No, no, spoil it, spoil it, spoil
after
it.
the spirit's head gets cut off, and then
Yeah.
everything ends up getting regrowing again. But yeah, it does look into deforestation and also like the issue of lack of resources that people feel like they have when that's not necessarily the case. But yeah, it's a great story. And again, the lead antagonist isn't necessarily a bad person. They're trying to do what they think is right in order to protect their little town, because she was they were even on the run from another group of people. They were trying to take over the town and essentially like kidnap some
It
people
was
there.
the women.
The women, yeah,
And the
they tried to-
women were the strongest
the
people
strong- yeah,
that
they
were
were out
like
there
creating
fighting.
the stills and stuff.
That's right. But that's what happens. That's happened quite a lot in history when we've had wars and men go to war, but it's women that are staying behind. They have to rebuild the towns, rebuild the cities. That's also something that's often forgotten in history. And again, he does a great job in showcasing
All
that.
in the animation.
But then
Yeah.
and it was like a retelling. It was almost again an environmental retelling of stories based in World War II, because that's when we were seeing women working in industrial like industries and making like crafts and steel and all of that. That's the retelling of the story in a different way, which is whimsical and airy-fairy and fantastical, which is what we get with Studio Ghibli. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I
One of
think he
the
does a great job. And now hearing from you guys in terms of like the undertones of like political stuff and political stances that he has with the film just makes it all more as great as well. I didn't realize how much films he's actually done.
Amazing.
He's actually done a lot.
Yeah. And so like when we had The Boy and the Heron, it was meant to be the last film that he did, but once he released it, I think something about it he didn't like, and I think it was more because it's such a personal story.
yeah,
He wanted something else out of it.
Yeah.
because I think
Sorry, what was I going to say?
like the main theme of the story is the character getting over grief.
He's dealing with grief.
He's dealing with grief, and obviously that's something that he had to go through with his mum passing away. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because we've spoken about a lot about his films and like how much like really like tough topics that it tackles. But I've seen like over these coming years now that Disney seems to be a lot more involved with Studio Ghibli. Like there was talks about them doing like a Star Wars. I'm not sure if you guys.
Yes,
saw that.
I've heard about this.
Like
This was at Star Wars Con in Japan.
Yeah.
That they're going to be doing a Studio Ghibli style Star
It
Wars.
was series, yeah. Is that anthology series?
I believe so.
Yeah. I was wanting to see you guys' thoughts of like Studio Ghibli now being more involved with Disney because it seemed like they're gonna start doing a
I mean,
partnership.
they were the main distributor for all their films coming out to like the Western world.
Yeah.
So like you see Spirited Away, which is the biggest one, that was Disney plugged, because what do you mean Anne Hathaway was a voiceover? Or for example, Howl's Moving Castle, they got Christian Bale.
yeah.
That's Disney money. That's as much as we can complain about it, Disney really opened us into this world. And maybe we're getting a better version of Disney because of Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. Do you think it'll hurt Studio Ghibli's like reputation?
Potentially.
Possibly. I just hope, and I don't think it's going to be the case of Disney being involved in the creative process of Studio Ghibli films. If it's a collaboration between the two of them, I don't really care. But if it's Studio Ghibli films specifically, I don't think Disney's influence will have an effect on the production of what Studio Ghibli is going to come out. So I'm not too fussed whatsoever.
Okay, fair. Last question for me. Just because I think our audience that watch our stuff may not even watch much Studio Ghibli stuff. I think most of them I'll argue most of them will probably have only seen Spirited Away. I think Spirited Away is like the universal.
That's the gateway.
Yeah, but
That's the gateway
what is another film, one each, that you think you should recommend people to watch from Studio Ghibli?
I would say Princess Monarchy.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I liked Up from Poppy Hill because it talked about the connections of people.
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle is the importance of community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably go something that we haven't mentioned before. Probably Porco Rosso.
Classic.
Because I think that's such an easy film to just watch and just enjoy for the sake of it, and not trying to think too deeply in it.
And that's about like not judging people so superficially.
Superficially, because obviously the main character looks like a pig. or is a pig, should I say?
Oh, I think I've seen the images of that.
So like a lot. You might have seen it actually because it used to be on film for a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I've definitely seen images of that. 'Cause I remember when you said the pig thing. I remember seeing like an image of it.